Francisco, I thought that reasonable precautions was fairly clear. The one items that the board has said are not covered are those where an individual, a union member, is acting in a way that any citizen in the same position would have been held responsible for. So if you libel somebody, it's not just you, but any other citizen with no legal obligation to you would be liable. Similarly, no person who's on strike or not can impose intentionally emotional distress, all right? Those are things that categorically we say can't be arguably protected. But when it comes to destruction of property, I always thought you needed a duty that you're breaching. If an employee goes on strike, their duty to you has ended. I can walk by your plant and the parking lot and see those trucks running. I have no obligation to tell you there's cement in there. I have no obligation to move the truck. I have no obligation to do anything. That's what the employees at that moment, they went on strike. What the government is saying, however, is intentional destruction of property means that I'm taking an affirmative act, not just merely the property perishing on its own. So I don't know why you're answering Justice Kagan. You want something further. You're saying you as an employee have to continue an employment duty with me until all of my profits are safe. That's what I see you
Not
arguing.
in the slightest am I suggesting that, Your Honor. Here, the employees took affirmative action, the union took affirmative action to put the product in a vulnerable position precisely so they
But you're
could abandon
saying,
it to
well,
spoil.
could a state tell the union, don't go on strike except at the end of the day?
No, Your Honor, what I'm saying is
Well, what's the difference between that and saying, don't go on strike while the truck has cement that you can offload if you want, you can hire people to offload it, you can do what you did, and it's your property. The moment I walked out on strike, I didn't owe you a duty to protect your property from self-perishment.
So it's the same principle that would prevent the ferry boat crew from driving the boat into the middle of the river and then merely going on strike.
Because that's very different in that you have no opportunity to save that property. But here, that's not the case. Here, you want them to continue working.
That most manifestly is the case here, Your Honor. Once the
So what do we do with
concrete
the
was
cases? What do we do with the NLRB case of the cheese people that left in the middle of the cheese processing? So the cheese
sure. So
disappeared.
a couple of responses. First, in that case, there
flour
was
delivery, or any other perishment of a product.
So first, in that case, there was no allegation of an intent to destroy property. If I recall,
Well, I mean, you're not. The intent is leaving.